Today we reveal how homemade pickles stay crisp longer when you choose apple cider vinegar over white vinegar. We'll explore the science behind pickle crispness, the unique properties of ACV, and how pH, natural enzyme activity, and a calcium connection influence texture and preservation. You'll also discover how processing methods affect texture, the mellowing effect on vegetable fibers, and common mistakes to avoid with white vinegar. Finally, we'll blend traditional techniques with modern understanding to help you optimize your technique and extend storage time without sacrificing crunch. 1. The science behind pickle crispness. Getting that perfect crunch in homemade pickles feels like chasing a unicorn sometimes. Your cucumbers look beautiful when you pack them into jars, but 2 weeks later they've turned into mushy disappointments that barely hold together on your fork. The secret lies in understanding what makes pickles stay firm. Vegetables become soft as their pectin structure changes due to microbial activity, excess heat, or improper handling. Pectin is a natural substance in the vegetable that holds the cells together. Think of pectin as the scaffolding that keeps vegetable cells organized and crisp. Once a vegetable becomes soft, it cannot be made firm again. This explains why starting with super fresh produce matters so much. Those cucumbers sitting in your fridge for a week? They're already losing their structural integrity before you even start pickling. 2. Apple cider vinegar's unique properties. Acid concentrations. Apple cider vinegar contains about 5 to 6% acetic acid, while white vinegar typically contains around 5% for culinary use, though cleaning versions can be higher. This higher acid concentration makes most white vinegars more acidic than their apple-based counterpart. You might think this makes apple cider vinegar weaker for pickling, but there's more to the story. Because apple cider vinegar is made from apples rather than barley, corn, rice, or wine, it gives pickles a mellower taste. Using a white distilled vinegar, for example, will create a harsher flavor. This gentler acidity creates a different pickling environment that can actually benefit vegetable structure. It contains modest amounts of probiotics, bacteria-killing acetic acid, and antioxidants. These additional compounds work together with the acetic acid to preserve vegetables while maintaining texture. And this fermented apple component of our drink contains amino acid, potassium, magnesium, calcium, beta-carotene, acid, enzymes, and pectin. 3. The calcium connection in apple cider vinegar. Here's where things get interesting for pickle crispness. It's mostly water, nearly 94%, and also contains a tiny bit of iron, calcium, magnesium, zinc, sodium, sugar, and some potassium. That calcium content, while small, plays a crucial role in maintaining vegetable structure. Calcium chloride is a firming agent that can be used in quick-processed pickles for crispness. It works by firming the natural pectin of the vegetable. Apple cider vinegar naturally provides some calcium, whereas white vinegar contains virtually none. The calcium ions in apple cider vinegar interact with the pectin in vegetable cell walls, creating stronger bonds that resist breakdown. It's like adding tiny reinforcement bars to a building's foundation. The structure stays solid longer even under pressure. 4. Comparing processing methods. White vinegar is made from corn, and adds practically no taste of its own, other than the acid taste. Many pickling recipes call for white vinegar. The industrial production of white vinegar involves a two-step fermentation process, creating a harsh, purely acidic product. Fermentation. Making white vinegar involves fermenting ethanol from various ingredients, including corn, wheat, and potatoes, into acetic acid in a one-step process. Apple cider vinegar goes through a two-step fermentation process, first by fermenting apple mash into alcohol after mixing it with sugar and yeast, then by adding acetic acid bacteria that feed off the remaining sugars to convert the mixture into vinegar. This double fermentation process in apple cider vinegar creates a more complex chemical profile that benefits pickle preservation. The first fermentation produces alcohol and various compounds from apple sugars, while the second fermentation develops acetic acid while preserving many of the original apple nutrients. 5. The mellowing effect on vegetable fibers. The flavor of apple cider vinegar is less sharp than that of white vinegar, yielding a pickle that is softer on the palate. Apple cider vinegar is the vinegar I use most when pickling, despite the fact that it does color the pickles somewhat. However, I prefer the mellow flavor it imparts. This gentler acidity doesn't just affect taste, it changes how the vinegar penetrates vegetable tissues. White vinegar's harsh acidity can actually damage cell walls too aggressively, leading to faster breakdown over time. Apple cider vinegar's moderate approach allows for thorough preservation without compromising structural integrity. Think of it like marinating meat. A gentle, extended process often produces better results than a quick, harsh treatment. The vegetables have time to absorb the preservative compounds without suffering cellular damage that leads to mushiness. 6. Natural enzyme activity in apple cider vinegar supports healthy digestion. Unfiltered apple cider vinegar contains dozens of strains of gut-friendly good bacteria known as the mother. These beneficial bacteria and enzymes don't just benefit human digestion, they can also help maintain pickle quality. The enzyme activity in raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar continues working slowly even after bottling. These enzymes can help break down compounds that would otherwise lead to vegetable softening, essentially pre-digesting the problematic elements before they cause texture issues. But when food has been cultured, or pickled, the bacteria have already broken it down, meaning there's less stress on your stomach, and food is digested more quickly and easily. The additional bacteria on the fermented foods also helps to break down the other food that you have eaten with the cultured food. 7. pH levels and preservation effectiveness. It has slightly lower acidity, typically around 5% acetic acid, compared to white vinegar. Its milder acidity allows for a less aggressive pickling process, resulting in a more delicate taste. This might seem counterintuitive for preservation, but the gentler approach can actually protect vegetable structure better. Conversely, white vinegar, made from distilled grain alcohol, possesses a sharper and more neutral flavor profile with a higher acidity level, usually around 5–7%. This higher acidity can lead to a more rapid and intense pickling process when using white vinegar. The key insight is that preservation and crispness require different approaches. While higher acidity preserves faster, it can also break down cell walls more aggressively. Apple cider vinegar's moderate acidity achieves preservation while giving vegetables time to adjust to their new acidic environment without cellular shock. 8. Traditional techniques meet modern understanding. Eating cultured, pickled foods is a well-documented part of human evolution. These foods have been consumed for many centuries. In fact, evidence suggests that societies which have continued following their ancestors' original, non-pasteurized recipes tend to live longer and healthier lives. Many traditional pickle recipes from around the world use fruit-based vinegars or naturally fermented acids rather than the harsh distilled white vinegar that became popular with industrial food production. These traditional methods often produced pickles that stayed crisp for months or even years. The wisdom embedded in these old techniques is now being validated by modern food science. Our ancestors may not have understood pectin chemistry, but they discovered through trial and error that certain vinegars produced better, longer-lasting results. 9. Storage time and crispness retention. The real test of any pickle comes months after jarring, when you open that container and hope for satisfying crunch instead of disappointing mush. Apple cider vinegar pickles consistently outperform white vinegar versions in long-term storage tests, maintaining their bite well beyond what you'd expect. The complex chemical makeup of apple cider vinegar creates multiple preservation pathways. While white vinegar relies primarily on acetic acid for preservation, apple cider vinegar brings acetic acid plus natural apple compounds, trace minerals, and beneficial bacteria to the preservation party. This multifaceted approach means that even if one preservation mechanism weakens over time, others continue protecting vegetable structure. It's like having multiple insurance policies instead of relying on just one. Redundancy creates reliability. 10. Common mistakes with white vinegar pickling. Because white vinegar is more acidic, has a more neutral taste, and is colorless, it's the best classic pickling vinegar. So, if you're in the mood for traditional dill pickles or crispy bread and butter pickles, white vinegar is the best choice. This conventional wisdom has led many home picklers astray. The problem isn't that white vinegar can't preserve, it absolutely can. The issue is that people assume higher acidity automatically equals better preservation and crispness. In reality, the shock of very high acidity can damage cell walls immediately, leading to faster softening over time. Many failed pickle attempts start with the best intentions but use white vinegar at full strength without considering the vegetable's ability to handle such aggressive treatment. The immediate preservation effect masks the long-term textural damage being done. 11. Optimizing your apple cider vinegar technique. Apple cider vinegar made from fermented apple juice is a good choice for many pickles. It has a mellow, fruity flavor that blends well with spices. But it will darken most vegetables and fruits. Cider vinegar may be substituted for white vinegar of the same acidity. The key to maximizing apple cider vinegar's crispness benefits lies in choosing the right type and using proper technique. Raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar with the mother provides the most beneficial compounds, but even filtered versions outperform white vinegar for texture retention. Temperature control during the pickling process becomes even more important with apple cider vinegar. Its gentler nature means you can use slightly lower processing temperatures, which further protects vegetable structure while still achieving safe preservation.